Assalamu alaikum dear students of class 12th. Hope you are fine. Today we are going to start a new chapter titled as Indigo from the text Flamingo. This chapter Indigo is written by Lois Fisher. Before we introduce the chapter, let me give you brief introduction about the writer, that is Lois Fisher. Dear students, Lois Fisher was born in Philadelphia. He served as a volunteer in the British Army between 1918 and 1920. Fisher made a career as a journalist and wrote for the New York Times, the Saturday Review, and for European and Asian publications. He was also a member of the faculty at Princeton University. The following is an excerpt from his book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. The book has been reviewed as one of the best books ever written on Gandhi by Times Educational Supplement. This was a brief introduction about the writer. Now, let me give you a brief introduction about the chapter, that is Indigo. This chapter, Indigo, is a description of Gandhiji's struggle for the poor peasants of Champaran. These peasants were sharecroppers with the British planters. By an ancient agreement, they had to produce indigo on 15% of the land and surrender it as rent to the landlords. By about 1917, it was known that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. The British planters now no longer wanted the indigo crop. In order to release the peasants from the 15% agreement, they demanded compensation from them. Some of the illiterate peasants agreed to it, but others refused. They engaged lawyers to go to the court. It was at this point that Gandhiji appeared in Champaran. He fought for the poor peasants, a long battle for 1 year. At last he got justice for them. Now the peasants gained courage and they knew their rights also. Along with the political and economic fight, Gandhiji worked on the social level also. He arranged for the education, health and hygiene of the poor peasants family, of the poor peasant families. He taught them the lesson of self-confidence. It was in a way a step forward in the struggle for Indian independence. So, here now students, actually this story is based on the interview taken by the Lois Fisher of Mahatma Gandhi. In order to write on him, he had visited in 1942 at his ashram Sevagram, where he was told about the indigo movement started by Gandhiji. The story revolves around the struggle of Gandhi and other prominent leaders in order to safeguard sharecroppers from the atrocities of landlords. So this was a brief introduction about the lesson. Now let us start. When I visited Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram in Sevagram in central India, he said, "I will tell you how it happened that I decided to urge the departure of the British." It was in 1917. This is the first para of the lesson. In this first para, the writer says that at his first interaction, the writer explains here about the Gandhi's first about the writer's first interaction or meeting with Mahatma Gandhi. He says that he first met Gandhi in 1942 at his ashram, which was in Sevagram. It was located in central India. Gandhi said that he would tell him about his struggle against the British, which took place in the year 1917. Now, text he had gone to the December 1916 annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. There were 2,301 delegates and many visitors during the proceedings. Gandhi recounted a peasant camp to me, looking like any other peasant in India, poor and emaciated, and I said, I am Rajkumar Shukla. I am from Champaran and I want you to come to my district. Gandhi had never heard of the place. It was in the foothills of the towering Himalayas near the kingdom of Nepal. Here are some words. Convention means agreement. Convention means agreement. Delegates means representatives. And peasants means small farmer. Emaciated means thin. Emaciated. Emaciated. Emaciated means thin. Champaran means a place in Bihar. So, dear students, here he says that in the month of December in the year 1916, this writer says Mahatma Gandhi wanted to attend the annual meeting of the Indian National Congress at Lucknow. There were about 2,301 representatives and visitors. Gandhi recalled that a small farmer named Rajkumar Shukla came to him, who was poor and thin. He requested Gandhi to visit Champaran, a place in the foothills of the Himalayas, of the Himalaya mountain range near the kingdom of Nepal. Now, text under the ancient agreement, the Champaran peasants were sharecroppers. Rajkumar Shukla was one of them. He was illiterate but resolute. He had come to the Congress session to complain about the justice of the landlord system in Bihar, and somebody had probably said, "Speak to Gandhi." So here are words. First word is sharecroppers, means a tenant farmer who gives a part of each crop as rent. Resolute means determined. Now, dear students, he told Gandhi that he was a sharecropper. So he told Gandhi that he was a sharecropper. A sharecropper is a farmer who gives a part of the crop as rent to the owner of that piece of land and he cultivated. He told him that because of an old agreement, many of the peasants in Champaran were sharecroppers. He had come to meet Gandhi on someone's suggestion, as he was determined to find a solution for the sharecroppers who were facing hardships due to his agreement. He sought Gandhiji's help. Now, Gandhi told Shukla he had an appointment in the Kanpur and he was committed to go to the other parts of India. Shukla accompanied him everywhere. Then Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla followed him to the ashram. 4 weeks he never left Gandhi. sighed. Fix a date, he begged. Fix a date, he begged. Impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity and story, Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from here. So, now here are some words. Committed means dedicated. Committed is a word. It means dedicated. Accompanied means go somewhere with someone as a company, as a companion or escort. Accompanied means go somewhere with someone as a companion or escort. Kanpur means British name for the city of Kanpur. So after here it says that after hearing his problem, Gandhi told him that he had to visit Kanpur and some of the other parts of India due to prior appointments. Shukla went with him everywhere. After this, Gandhi returned to his ashram near Ahmedabad. Shukla was always there with him for several weeks, begging him to fix a date to visit Champaran. Now, impressed by the sharecropper's tenacity and story, Gandhi said, I have to be in Calcutta on such and such a date. Come and meet me and take me from there. Months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta. So months passed. Shukla was sitting on his haunches at the appointed spot in Calcutta when Gandhi arrived. He waited till Gandhi was free. Then the two of them boarded a train for the city of Patna in Bihar. The Shukla led him to the house of a lawyer named Rajendra Prasad, who later became the president of the Congress Party and of India. Rajendra Prasad was out of town, but the servants knew Shukla as a poor yeoman who pestered their master to help the indigo sharecroppers. So they left him sitting on the ground with his companion Gandhi, whom they took to be another peasant. But Gandhi was not permitted to draw water from the well. Lest some drops from the bucket pollute the entire source. How did they know that he was not an untouchable? So here are some words. One word is tenacity means determination. Haunch means thighs. Boarded means get on, enter. And another word is yeoman, a man who cultivates a small piece of land. Pestered means bother, harass, and permitted means allowed. Here in this stanza, in these lines, in this paragraph, Wright says that as Gandhi was impressed with the determination of the peasant, he said that he would be visiting Calcutta after a few months and that Shukla should meet him there. On the way that had been fixed, Shukla was eagerly waiting for Gandhiji. When Gandhiji got free, they both took a train to Patna. Then they went to the house of a lawyer, Rajendra Prasad, who later became the President of India. When they reached there, he was not at home, but the servants allowed both of them to stay at the at the grounds because they knew Shukla. They all knew him because Shukla used to visit to assist their master in helping Indigo sharecroppers. They did not allow Gandhi to draw water from their well as they took him to be an untouchable and did not want to pollute the entire water sources. Thank you very much, Rajat Nai.